people get presented things that are literally videos. It's like, well, maybe someday they'll work. A lot of times you're buying something from the freak show and it works. It not only works, it's the best in the world. This thing is scaring our enemies.
And I was talking to people today, and obviously people in the government have realized that we work. Some of those services companies just seem extremely jealous of Palantir. It's like we thought they were dumb, and apparently they think we're bad or something like that. And I'm wondering, is it because they're jealous? I think there's just some huge jealousy with, I mean, I shouldn't mention the names of these companies, but these big companies that would do all the ontologies, and get paid tens of millions of dollars for something useless. And I think there seems like extreme jealousy or something from the outsiders.
Look, you're a warrior for justice, and I am in a different way a fighter for Western values. If you want to reform these institutions, the best thing is to not engage in why they may like us, we may not like them, but to say it is clearly in the best interest for the country that produces this unique thing. By the way, the thing that is the most valuable thing in the world that no other country is producing.
We should be using that in the DoD.
That there should just be a minimal part of the budget. And it's minimal. It's 1%. By the way, the other thing we need to do is every single thing that is not being presented to people at any level that is not actually running on real data, there should be a flag. This is a video.
Yeah.
Because what you'll see across large institutions, not just the DoD, but commercial institutions, that people get presented things that are literally videos.
Yeah, they're fake.
So it's like, well, maybe someday they'll work, but it's very purely intuitively, it's very hard. It does not correspond to anything that people believe, because you would think 5,000 people being paid $1 billion would produce something more valuable than 5 people working for equity, just purely intuitively. But it's not true.
Yeah.
So
it used to be true with maybe tanks or something, but it's not true with software.
Well, one of our advantages in software is that the hardware cultures are really struggle with software, because these things are true for tanks and they're true for other things and big metal things. They're not true for software. But again, it's also true that software is the most important asset, and our adversaries are going to be much better at building these big metal things than they are at software. But to this point, the way to reform the system is say a certain percentage that's small must go to these things.
I love it. That's a great
point. And then the second thing is, just as an addendum, when you show off if the products are working, the financing should be triggered at some point. It was like, oh, it worked.
Yep.
And
pay for it for working, not pay for it for just.
Yeah. And last not least, there should just be a minor thing in every bill. Oh, by the way, we are going to flag every time something is a video and not working, so that every senior and by the way, every institution, not just every institution in the world, should have a mandate. It's like, it's okay to do things that are notionalized or things you're going to build in the future. That's part of innovation.
But be honest about what's live.
But you have to force honesty on your institution, because otherwise, again, to the beginning of this, people will buy from the people that they like, that are like them. And sometimes that's valuable in the people. But in software, a lot of times you're buying something from the freak show and it works. And the future of the West depends on buying things from people that are sometimes, not always, outside the norm, unlikable to you, are not going to conform to your thing, are not going to the right dinners.
Are you calling us unlikable, Alex?
I'm not calling, I like myself. I'm just saying.
Otherwise, the insiders always win every time.
And look, the thing about reform is that you're going to blow up the institution doesn't work either. You've got to say, we're going to pick here. And then the institution, especially in America, will adapt, because once you see a tiny sliver is going to this thing,
it's working.
People are like, but it not only works, it's the best in the world. This thing is scaring our enemies.
Yeah.
Americans right now are very motivated inside the DoD to scare our enemies.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what scares our enemies. Using software that is actually a product that's almost invariably built here, and that someone on this planet has actually paid for commercially.
So speaking